Good evening. I'd like to call this special meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. First on the agenda is to consider for discussion the action and approval of payment for wetlands credit for the HMGP mitigation $11.4 million grant project. This is for the wetlands on the downside of the Camelot Dam. We're required to purchase these credits to offset the wetlands that we will be disturbing when we rebuild the dam. That is requires a $17,500 match to GLO that we'll have to pay for. We're taking that out of the ARPA funds, the GLO match dollars it was $114,920 that was in the budget. Once we remove the $17,500, that will remain, the remaining balance for that line item will be $97,420. So I need a motion to move those funds or use those funds to as our matching dollars for the GLO grant on the $11.4 million grant for the wetlands purchase.
I make the motion, Mayor, that we move $17,500 to purchase the wetlands.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will, can you add and give the mayor authority to sign for that?
I'm gonna amend that motion to authorize the mayor to sign for this purchase. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Consider for discussion, action, or reappropriation of ARPA funds for from the fiscal 2023 budget for the 2024 budget regarding the bathhouse funds. Will?
Thank you, Mayor. We need to look at this, redoing the ARPA budget. Of course, we're gonna take $17,500 out for the wetlands, but also in the next year's budget, we need to reallocate funds for the auditor. We need to take the public restroom out funds and move it into the dams. And also we need to move money out also into software. So if we take the code enforcement that we had $20,000 budgeted for this year, move $16,000 of that into the auditor, put that remaining dollars in, which would be $1,058.96 into IT software. And then any interest payment we get from the ARPA funds would go back into IT for purchase of the server and hardware. And we put $32,194 into the dams. So we can do repairs that we need to do in the dams. It looks like we're going to have some caulking we're going to have to do. It looks like we don't know what voids we have, and we don't know. We have some valves that we're going to have to replace. So we're being very proactive in moving funds to take care of our dams, as well as other needs we have.
So do I have a motion to?
I have one question.
Yes,
so
sir.
the GLO match, that's going to remain there, but for these other projects, right? We have other match
Correct.
monies that we have to have for the future.
Correct.
Yeah, that goes to.
It's in the ARPA fund breakout that you have there. That $114,920 was set aside specifically for the GLO match requirements that we have.
With an $11.9 million grant, we have a 1% match.
So that's remaining, right?
that
We still
stays.
have not paid that match yet.
Oh, no.
No.
This is actually the first payment that we're making in the GLO match requirement against that $11 million grant.
Okay. Good.
And we anticipated that this. I tried to swap out some of the existing wetlands that we have in exchange for disturbing the downside of Camelot Dam, and they would not accept that.
So this second page is the that shows the reallocation quantities and amounts,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
which is like $12,453.70 for ARPA administration, $16,000 for an annual auditor.
Where are you go, which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at the
2024.
2024 budget. So we are
Okay.
reallocating to that budget. A GLO match, we have remaining 97,420.
That's correct.
IT software of 1,058.96.
That's correct.
CDBG match of 17,500. And then our down balance will be $32,194.
Correct.
So, with that reading, I'd make a motion that, we make the adjustments to the budget and accept it, for 2024.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So, CD, do we still need to do number 3?
Okay, the reappropriations in the current budget,
Yes, sir?
you basically adopted the fiscal year 2024 budget. The 2023 budget, as Councilman Warren said, on public restrooms, that's gonna end up, how it ends up, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We got it? Yep, okay. With Councilman's, McWhorter's motion, that basically is gonna approve, agenda item number 3. So, the big thing is approving the 2024 budget. The changes in the 2023 budget, as Councilman Warren had, made note of, that's going to pretty much take care of that as the 24 budget.
So do we need another motion? Or- No, we're good. Is there any further discussion? To have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
September.
Okay.
And at 6 p.m.
Good evening. Thank you for coming to the second public hearing, special meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. This is a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for the maintenance and operations portion of the budget, as well as the interest and sinking portion of the budget that's used to repay the bond. The maintenance and operations portion of the budget tax rate is 0.6264 per $100 valuation. And-
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna go to 0.6164.
What am I'm sorry. I stand corrected. It's wrong on this sheet here. It's 0.6164. And the interest in sinking is 0.1312. We did get a correction, some different numbers from our tax assessor late Friday, and CD and I decided that we were not going to change our numbers. We've already advertised them. We're too far into this, and we're going to stay with these numbers because the total tax rate of 0.7476 remained the same, even with the change that our tax assessor wanted us to make. We're still in good shape. We're still going to be able to live within our means. And at this point, I need a motion to accept the tax rate for M&O of 0.6164 and the interest and sinking of 0.1312.
Mayor, if
Yes,
I
sir.
might.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you'll combine the action on the tax rate with the ordinance number 2023-12 under the addendum, that will cover both of those at one time. And then do the same thing for ordinance number 2023, number 13 for the tax rate on the interest and sinking. I'm sorry, got that
Okay.
wrong. 2012 for adopting the budget, and then proceeding with the tax rate.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. That way it covers both the addendum and the initially posted meeting agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have to do anything to acknowledge public forum that there's no one here to speak, or is there, I mean,
That would cover that part.
we have no public forum, right? There's no one here to
Correct.
make a comment, so.
Yeah, and I don't think we're getting any feedback on YouTube.
Okay.
So ordinance number 2023-12.
Uh-huh.
It's an ordinance of the City of Ivanhoe adopting a budget for the ensuing fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023, and ending September the 30th, 2024, in accordance with the Texas Uniform Budget Law. For the City of Ivanhoe, appropriating the various amounts thereof, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for public hearings, providing for publication of this ordinance, and for an effective date hereof. Whereas the mayor of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, on August 28th of this year, submitted to the City Council a proposed budget of the revenues of said city and the expenditures, expenses of conducting the affairs thereof, and providing a complete financial plan for fiscal year 2024, in which said proposed budget has been compiled from detailed information obtained from the past income and expenses of the city, and whereas the City Council has received said mayor's proposed budget, a copy of which proposed budget and all supporting documents have been filed with the City Secretary of the City of Ivanhoe, and has been continuously available for review by the public at the city office of the City of Ivanhoe and on the city website since August the 29th of this year. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, that Section 1, the proposed budget of the revenue of the City of Ivanhoe and the expenses of conducting the affairs thereof and providing a complete financial plan for the ensuing fiscal year beginning October 1 and ending September 30, 2024, as submitted to City Council by the mayor and of said city on August 28th, and amended following the budget workshop on September 7th, 2023. B, and the same is in all things adopted and approved as the budget of all anticipated expenditures and expenses, as well as fixed charges against the city of Ivanhoe for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024.
That's sufficient.
That's sufficient. So do I have,
Needs the motion. The ordinance.
okay,
And this new tax rate is actually lower than the previous year. It's just a matter of the,
Appraisals reading,
speak.
oh, wait. It's on. Am
You speak into it.
I, test, 1, 2.
No, you got to
Wait.
get to the front of it. Speak directly.
So our tax rate is actually lower than it was last year. It's a matter of the appraised values have gone up, and that's out of our hands. That comes down from the county level, correct?
Yes, to be clear, the no new revenue tax rate that they gave to us did not equal the revenue that we brought in last year. It was a lower number.
Right.
That's why I proposed the voter approval rate, which raises revenue by $11,300. It's very, very minimal in the overall scheme of things as inflation is eating us all alive.
Right. Well, there being no further discussion, I'll make a motion to,
Are you ready? You want to make the motion or you want him?
He's fine.
Okay.
make a motion that we, let's see, how would the wording go? So what, there's a lot that could be worded as. I make a motion that we accept the approved.
The ordinance 2023-12.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance 2023-12.
Have a second?
Second.
All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Oh, any discussion?
Yes.
Discussion.
So the ordinance is for the budget, or is it the tax rate?
The budget.
For the budget.
This one is formalizing what the action was that council took on the 21st. And if you'll see on the second page there, or the last page, it has all the yay votes for the budget. This is simply formalizing that council did in fact vote that way.
All right, so we're voting for the budget.
Correct, on
All right.
2023-12.
All right?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ordinance number 2023-13. This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, adopting the tax roll, adopting the tax rate, and levying ad valorem taxes for the fiscal year of 2020-24 to provide revenue for the payment of budgeted municipal expenditures and providing for tax assessment, records, severability, an effective date, and proper notice and meeting. Do I need to continue? Or is that,
At least that first whereas.
Okay.
And then go down to the now therefore.
Okay,
and the
gotcha.
adoptions.
whereas the City Council of Ivanhoe, Texas has on this date, by way of separate ordinance, duly approved and adopted a budget for the operation of the city for fiscal year 2024, and whereas the aforesaid ordinance anticipates and requires the levy of an ad valorem tax on all taxable property in the city of Ivanhoe, and whereas the chief appraiser of the Tyler County Appraisal District has prepared and certified the appraisal roll of the city of Ivanhoe, Texas, that roll being that portion of the approved appraisal roll of Tyler County Appraisal District, which lists property taxable by the city of Ivanhoe, Texas, and whereas the tax assessor and collector of Tyler County has calculated and published the required mandatory calculations as the official designated by the governing body required by Section 2604 of the Texas Tax Code. The tax assessor and collector has published calculations incorporating a $5,000 over 65 homestead exemption. The published rates include the required no new revenue tax rate, the voter approval tax rate, and an explanation of how they were calculated, and has fulfilled all other requirements for publications as required by Chapter 6 of the Texas Tax Code. And having done this in a manner designed to come to the attention of all residents of the city of Ivanhoe, and those rates have been submitted to the city council, and whereas the city council has complied with all applicable requirements of the Texas Tax Code and Texas Local Government Code prior to setting of the tax rate for said city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024. And whereas it is necessary to levy such an ad valorem tax at a given rate to generate revenues sufficient to meet the projected expenses of the city for fiscal year
That should be
2024.
Yes.
Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, that the tax roll presented to the City Council, together with any supplements thereto, is hereby accepted and approved. 2, adoption of the tax rate. The tax rate of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, for the tax year of 2024 shall be and is hereby set at 0.7476 on each $100 of taxable value of real personal property, not exempt from taxation by the Constitution and laws of this state, situated within the corporate limits of the City of Ivanhoe. The tax rate, as required by law, is adopted in 2 parts: the general operating expense rate, maintenance and operations, of 0.6164 per $100 valuation, and the debt rate, which is interest and sinking for the bond repayment, of 0.1312 per $100 valuation. Sir?
That's good.
Any discussion on this before I call for a motion? Do I have a motion to accept ordinance number 2023-13?
I so move.
Well, Justin, if you'll look on the last page there, it gives the specific language that the state
I have to take a poll.
requires. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is this this paragraph here? I move that the property tax be,
It's going to be increasing the adoption of a tax rate of 0.7476 per 100 valuation, which is effectively a 0.001% decrease in the maintenance and operations tax rate.
okay. So now I take a poll.
You have a motion and a second.
Who has to make that motion?
Yeah.
Make a motion to accept 2023-13.
No, it needs to be in that wording.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Let me see. I move that the property tax be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.7476 per $100 valuation, which is effectively a 0.001% decrease in the maintenance and operations tax rate.
Correct.
I second.
Yay.
Let me see.
Thank you.
Yep. Councilman Warren,
Yay.
Councilman McWhirter. Councilman Williams is absent. Councilman Harrington is absent. Councilman Gregory.
Yay.
So,
That's adjourn.
motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.